Hello everyone, how are you? My name is Pamela Erin and welcome to our first Treasure Tress event of the year. Like guys, I'm so excited for this. Are you excited? I'm extremely excited. We've got these lovely ladies with us today. Everyone wave, say hi. And guys, if you want to join with your camera, we'd love to see you just here having a conversation. We're really just here to actually just have a conversation. So this is our first event of the year and we've partnered with Aveda to bring to you a hair clinic where we talk about the natural hair basics, literally our one-on-one. And it's just a conversation between us and you. So if you have any questions, just raise your hand or put a message in the chat. We will also have breakout rooms later for you to discuss things such as lymph retention, breakage and styling with our lovely ladies over here. So I'm going to stop talking for a moment and let these lovely ladies introduce themselves today. So, again, my name is Pamela Erin. Nice to meet you all. So, we start with you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ebony Jedwa. I'm a trichologist and natural hair stylist.
Hi everyone, I'm Choma Soko. I'm a natural hair content creator.
Hi everyone, my name is Marika and I am a subscriber of Tress.
Hi everyone, I'm Joy and I'm a subscriber of Treasure Tress since 2015, right from the beginning.
Look at that. We've got an OG subscriber, guys. I love it. Absolutely, extremely excited. So guys, now that you've introduced yourself, tell us all, let's start with a funny story about your natural hair. So let's start with you, Chima.
Where to begin? Funny story about my natural hair, I think it's just the relationship that I've had with my natural hair since lockdown happened, and I've been that person that has always kind of, stuck to the rules of natural hair and natural hair care and how you should be taking care of it. But honestly, I feel like all rules went out of the window, especially during lockdown. I was doing okay for the first few months, and then everything just went out the window. So I caught myself not wearing my scarf bonnet sometimes. I caught myself not combing my hair. I just found myself overall just not taking care of my hair as I should have been. So it was a bit of a problem, but yeah. We're working on getting a better relationship, let's just say that.
Joy, what about yourself?
I'm really trying hard to find a funny story, but I think for me the most fun thing about natural hair for me has been just trying out different colours and just being vibrant with the colours and moving from blonde to bronze to black. And I've even had purple.
Oh,
so,
me too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Popping colour is fun.
Colours, especially in the summertime.
That's right. And age doesn't stop you from popping colour.
Yes, say it again. Say it again. Guys, did you hear that? I think if you could just say it again, just repeat it again.
Age doesn't stop you from popping the colour.
Thank you guys. What about yourself, Meeks?
Oh goodness, I wouldn't say I've had funny stories. I've had tragic stories, not funny stories. I've dyed my hair to the point where it became totally thinned out and started shedding, falling out, and I had to do a big chop and start all over again. I have had causes of alopecia, from tension, where I pulled my hair back too tight. I wouldn't say they're funny, but definitely learning experiences. Oh, what else? Just, the days where your hair just doesn't go right.
Yeah.
As we mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if you guys were listening at the time, we were having a big night out and you really want your hair to work and it just doesn't. And then, you try, you're sitting there for hours and your usual routine for some reason just isn't working. Yeah, those struggle days, I get those quite a lot.
For me, I don't know, I feel like I kind of fell into natural hair. My thing was just that I wanted to be bald. So when I graduated from uni, my parents were kind of like, you can't cut your hair beforehand. I kind of transitioned because I didn't know what it was. I just didn't want to have a relaxer. And I got home from my graduation and just got clippers and just shaved it all off. And I was like, okay, I'm free. And I was like, I'm not going back to relax. And that's kind of how I got here.
Okay, so I genuinely want to know, how was that? Because for me, to shave the whole thing off.
The best feeling ever. Probably this isn't a good analogy, but sometimes when you see people are having they're going through a thing and they cut their hair, everyone
like
should go
Britney
bald.
Spears.
Yeah. But not there has to be a real reason that you're suffering, but just Guys, do it. Once in your lifetime, you have to just lock off
That reminds
everything.
me of Tiffany Haddish.
Mhm.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And when she actually did it on Instagram, it was amazing.
She
and
shaved
then she
everything
just massaged her hair and she just felt so free.
Yeah, and I've got a mad head shape. Like I've got like a big forehead. I've got like humps a little bit at the sides. Yeah, anybody can. If I can pull it off, anybody can.
To be fair, I loved my hair short. I do have a funny story. I'm telling a lie. I've just remembered. You reminded me. You know, we all go through those stages as women of colour where we see certain images online and we want to copy. This is before wigs or anything. I decided I wanted bangs. So I said to my mum, I want a fringe. And she was like, no, baby, that's not going to suit you. Anyway, I got scissor happy and I went with the scissors and I cut my hair in what I thought was a stylish blunt fringe. It wasn't.
Oh, not the
I was I was walking around for weeks, like I couldn't put my hair back in a ponytail. It was just like this little bit of hair just frizzled up, frizz, just like this, flapping around in the wind. It was
Is it like when a certain singer
again.
decided she wanted to have like a really short bang? I don't want to say her name before I get attacked.
Somebody influenced me and I was just like, I really want a fringe, so I decided to do it myself, never again.
Okay, so we've really gotten through the natural hair horror stories. If I'm to give you guys one, oh guys, okay, this is a bit. So everyone understands when you get your extensions in, you get your cane rows, and like you need to chop off a little bit of the extension before you take out the rest of your hair.
Yeah.
So I was in year 6. So I was about maybe like 10, 11, I think. Yeah, I was in year 6, and this is before the end of year 6. I'll never forget the time. It was March. It was about March or April. Never gonna forget it. And I had done 2 pigtails cane rows. That's what my mum had done. And then she now cut it for me so I could just take it out and get my hair done. I wanted to hurry up because I wanted to go out and play. So I just cut some more. Then it just was taking too long, so I cut some more. It just kept going and just cutting and took out the hair. I was so excited. I was like, yeah, I've taken everything out. Now I can go out and play. So there was hair around here. There was hair around the back. As for the middle of my hair, there was nothing there. Nothing. Zero. And that was it, guys. My mum said,
what did your mum say?
so my mum said, thank Jesus, because she had been trying to get me to cut my hair for ages. Yeah. So my mum was happy. My mum said, I'm going to take you to the barber shop and we are going to shave off your entire head. So that's what happened. My mum went, I sat down, I was crying my eyes out in the barber shop, and they were just shaving the rest of it off. I mean, you couldn't really do anything with it. But I was heartbroken.
Why did she want to cut your hair, can I ask?
Oh, because, so actually, fun fact, it said that the ends of your hair, think of it like the granddad, like the elders, right? And what it is that you can't just keep it there for time. You need to eventually cut it. And my mum felt like the hair I had grown up until then, it was like literally baby hair. Like you've grown it for so long, you haven't really cut it all off. So that's what my mum was trying to get me to do. But I refused to, and you know what? As fate had it, God had other plans. That's what it is. God had other plans and said, you're going to cut your hair yourself. So yeah, so for the rest of my year 6, I had no hair. But it grew enough to the point where I could do braids for, like your year 6 kind of graduation. So I was happy with that. I was very happy with that. So that was great for me. So that's my horror story. Never again. As you can see, guys, I will never. I have learnt my lesson. So actually, guys, let's get into like the basics of wash day. What is wash day like for you? Because I feel like everyone's is different. So who wants to go first? Yeah.
I don't particularly have a wash day because I tend to wash my hair about 2-3 times a week, depending upon whether or not I want my curls defined. Because the more I wash my hair, the more defined my curls become. I just enjoy being able to get up in the morning, wash my hair, put leave-in conditioner, and just go.
Okay.
Make me want to cut my hair again.
We did a big chop live.
I missed the TWAs. I really missed
You know what? We did actually do a big chop live at our pop-up 2020 on Instagram Live. A girl came. She had lovely hair, guys. It was very long. I was hurt for the hair, but sis did a big chop live. It was absolutely amazing. It was just, and you could actually feel like it was. You know where you can tell that it was very free and it was very like wow. It's just like wow, and she looked beautiful, like absolutely amazing. So in terms of like with the leave-in conditioner, would you say how is the Aveda leave-in conditioner for you?
Actually used the Aveda leave-in conditioner this morning. I'd used the shampoo and the conditioner.
Yeah.
And my curls were really nice and defined. My hair was extremely soft, I have to say. And then it started to dry out, and I was getting a little bit worried about that. And then I used some of the spray leave-in conditioner, and that again revived the curls. So for me, it was light, and it gave me the softness and the curliness that I like.
Okay, that's what we like. This is why Aveda leave-in is just amazing for me personally. But yeah, Chuma, what about you? How is wash day for you and with Aveda products?
Yeah, wash days vary depending on the type of protective style that I have from the previous like wash days. But recently I've been washing my hair every 2 weeks, so I went from like washing it every week. I'm not going anywhere. I wash it every 2 weeks. Had a wash day yesterday with Aveda products, and they were really good. I particularly like the curl gelée because it gave me this look today. All I needed was like the leave-in conditioner to spray. So I worked in sections, just sprayed, then used the curl gelée, and then the hair oil, because with my hair, like I always need that oil to be able to just like lock in as much moisture as possible. Yeah, and then just banded, because again, like I'm just, nowadays I'm like, what am I doing with my hair? What am I doing with my hair? So the easiest way to go about styling was just like to band it. But I always start a wash day with shampooing my hair to cleanse, of course, and I don't miss a deep condition opportunity. I always steam my hair. Like that is the one rule that I've set myself. Like with every wash day, I will always, condition with a steamer. So that's what I do usually.
Actually, let's actually speak about the importance of deep conditioner. What is it for you guys? Because people say, I'm gonna just condition for 5 minutes. And then we've got some of our naturals who will deep condition for the 20 to 25. Then you've got the ones who will deep condition for 24 to 48 hours. So let's speak about the importance of deep conditioning, what that's like with you guys with your journey. Like Ebony, what would you say?
I think deep conditioning is really important for our hair. Afro hair lacks luster sometimes. It can feel quite dull. It gets quite dry really easily because of like the texture, because of the curls. So we need to try, especially in places where we don't originate from. It gets really cold here, or like it's just, the environment isn't the best suited for our hair. So we want to try and put as much moisture into it back as possible. You talked about the several steps or levels of conditioning. So for me, I'm usually like kind of like a 5 minute girl. I try to do like, the 20 minutes for the steam at least once a month or so.
Okay.
After about 20 minutes, you're kind of wasting your time. I want to say it quietly, I feel bad. What did she say? So after about 20 minutes, it's like your hair isn't a sponge, it's only going to absorb so much moisture. So after a certain point, it stops, and then it stops being as effective. It's not harming your hair, but it's not doing, if you do 20 minutes or if you do 2 days, there's no difference in how much moisture your hair has taken on. It can actually be detrimental to do it for too long. And so wash day starts, you put your deep conditioner in, you clean your house, you have to go out, run errands, cool, by all means, but try and rinse it out that same day as soon as possible, rather than leaving your hair wet the next day or that kind of thing. So I'm like 20 minutes is sufficient time.
Okay, 20 minutes. Guys, also let us know in the chat what you guys think. Like, what's your times like? 20 minutes, 15 minutes, like 28, 24 hours, 48? Because some do the full 48 hours. Good luck to you all.
I feel like I can see like pictures on the screen going zoom, zoom. But yeah, Marika, what about you?
For me, I've gone through different relationships with deep conditioner, because I too was one of those people who thought the longer that you left it on, the better it would be. But then I went to a hairdresser, and she actually told me that it's a myth that hairdressers give, because when they put you under the deep steamer, they like to go off and do other clients. That's how they keep you there, and think that you're having a treatment that's going on for hours, and you're getting your money's worth. But I just need to go off and do their own thing. When she told me that, she told me the same thing as you, it was the 20 minutes. So I tried to stick to the 20 minutes. However, it was one of your lives, Pamela, where you actually said about the proteins.
Yeah.
And you said that you should actually stick to what is written, the instructions. So I actually stick to it now. If it says 10 minutes, I do 10 minutes. I do use a steamer, but I just try to follow the instructions now because what you said, that really hit home to me. I was like, let me follow the instructions because I don't want my hair to get an overload of anything.
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Of course, ask a question.
So I know that obviously there's deep conditioners, but there's also the rinse out conditioners.
Yeah.
Like some people, they do both. They deep condition and use regular conditioner, but I sort of think that's a waste of product. So, but it's like, for example, you say that every wash you should deep condition, but if that's the case and we're not supposed to use regular wash out conditioner, like how do you make the two? Are they co-washes? Are co-washes good? And I'm asking a lot of questions.
Okay, I'll say my part first. So what I've come to understand about Hair Journey is what works best for your hair is also what's important. Because I can say, do this, do this, do this. And don't get me wrong, some of my tips are great. Do pay attention. Some of the tips that Tress give you are great. And Aveda, amazing. But also, you have to do what works best for you. In terms of the rinse out conditioners, I know that my hair does not understand the meaning of a rinse out conditioner. My hair only understands deep conditioning.
Yes, that part.
It only understands deep
Do you mean like a
conditioning.
quick rinse out one, like a 3 to 5 minute one?
Yeah, no, my hair will be like, what are you doing?
Okay.
My hair will be like, you just stripped me of moisture and you're leaving the conditioning for 3 minutes. What are you doing? That's what my hair is really saying to me. And I'm the sort of person that when I shampoo my hair, I like two things. Sometimes I like for it to be really stripped just because I know that, oh yeah, you clean. Like it's very clean. Like I can feel that my hair I can feel that all the product buildup has gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of, for me, when it comes to conditioning, I go deep conditioner all the way and conditioner. And as I spoke about on the live as well, your protein and moisture balance is so important because if you get a moisture overload or protein overload, guys, I'm telling you, it's suffering. I have seen people suffer. So it's just always being careful. That's why I always say stick to the amount of time. That's why I agree with you on that. Like after a certain amount of time, I don't feel like it, it helps. But don't get wrong, I've had my days where I deep condition overnight because, I just...
Even a weekend or so.
Honestly, because I do wash night sometimes and the team love this. I do wash night instead of wash day. So I will start at like 9 p.m. and then go into the next day.
But if you get that,
because you normally see with wet hairs, you're just like, if I just want to dry it, like the conditioner's a bit more dry. I feel
Or like when someone says, let's go out.
Yeah.
You want to go eat? Yes, I'm going to eat. I'm going to stop what I'm doing with the deep conditioner in my hair.
What about those conditioners that are overnight deep treatment? Are they lies? Are they gimmicks?
Overnight what?
Who's that? So again, it comes down to like the actual product. So there are some products that may be developed for you to use for an extensive period of time. I would follow the instructions. But if we look on the back of most of our products, it will say 3 to 5 minutes, maximum 20 minutes. And if you don't have a steamer, like some of the girls mentioned, you can use like a hot towel and water, a plastic, like I'm good for like a carrier bag and a towel underneath or a t-shirt or something like that. But over my hair journey has evolved to the point where my wash day is now a wash hour. So like I washed my hair before I came here this morning and my hair was dry and done. There was no hassle or anything. I shampoo. Hello. No,
I'm genuinely intrigued because I did the same, but mine never took 2.5 hours.
Okay, I have locks now, so I miss all the detangling part. But even when I'm in the salon, my appointment's like an hour and a half, and you will be sit in a chair, washed, conditioned, everything, styled, and then ready to go because there's a lot of parts of our hair care that we extend. We like to, really get into it. So if we're going to shampoo, we're going to shampoo. Do you know what I mean? We get in there, we get everything clean. We're going to condition. We're like, I'm going to condition. Every strand must be covered in product. And we take things a little bit, I don't say too far, but we just do things a bit more involved than they need to be. Some steps may be unnecessary. So for you, it sounds like you're clarifying most times.
Yeah.
And because you enjoy that, because you like your hair to feel super clean.
So I wouldn't say, so I would clarify not too often though, because you don't always want to keep stripping. Because I wash my hair weekly because I went for a period where I was moisture training. Stressful.
What's moisture training? I've never heard of that one before.
Oh guys, moisture training. Wow. Moisture training. Okay. We will do a TT talk on this, but moisture training is basically, how do I explain this in the simplest of ways? It's training my hair to literally keeping that moisture for a week.
Okay.
So I shouldn't have to re-up my leave-in conditioner.
Okay.
You know, like how sometimes every 2 days, every 3 days, leave-in conditioner, leave-in conditioner.
Okay. I get what you're
So
saying.
that for me is literally my moisture training period. So I went through washing my hair every week. But with moisture training, the important step is really from your shampooing to your leave-in conditioner in the shower.
Okay.
So yeah, cheeky tip everyone. When applying your leave-in conditioner, make sure your hair is drenched in warm water. So I would section my hair in like 4 sections.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm starting off with this section here, and I will literally get my shower head, literally just drench it in warm water. Not hot, warm, just warm water, just repeating that. And then I've got my leave-in conditioner and I'll apply it and I'll rub my hands through it. Then I will twist it into like a bantu knot, get a clip, and just clip it there. So do it for like 4 sections and then put like a plastic bag or like a shower cap, whatever you got, leave it in for like 30 minutes before I then style my hair. Okay. And the only reason why I do that is because it actually, I feel like what happens is that we do our LCO methods, leave-in conditioner oil is the sealant. We do our LCO methods and we just pack on the products and never actually let your leave-in conditioner actually get into your hair.
Yeah.
Like we don't give it the time. So when you give it that 30 minutes, then by all means do everything else after. Yeah. So that's what I always try to make sure and do before anything. Before I style my hair, I will make sure that leave-in conditioner has had its time to penetrate through and get there. And guys, I'm telling you, game changer. Yeah. Absolute game changer when you try that. But yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like I've come to the University of Hair. I have to say, I've never known or talked about hair in this depth before. Okay. I mean, you mentioned something about protein overload.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Dry, kind of strawy. So your hair will become extremely dry and kind of strawy, if that makes. I don't know if strawy is the right word to use, but it's
dryness.
Yeah, that kind of dryness, and it becomes limp as well. So what moisture overload, it will become limp, but it's like it loses its elasticity. And one thing that's very important about our hair is elasticity and shrinkage. But even speaking of that, guys, breakage. What is breakage like for you? I'm gonna ask Trim and Joy, what's breakage like? Or any tips for?
Yeah, half the time I feel like I don't notice it because I keep my natural hair in its natural state of the time. So it's only when I stretch out my hair and I can see there's something going on. Yeah. So it's only recently now that's when I've been realizing, okay, like there've been times where I feel like, my hair's not growing, and that's because of breakage, and that's because of over manipulation. Because like what I do, I like to style my hair a lot of times. And I sometimes over manipulate my hair, and that's when I experience breakage. But half the time, because it's kinky coils, I'm just like,
you can just
if I don't see it, is it really there? Yeah,
I get it. Well, Adrian, what's breakage like? In terms like, did you experience like, has there any other time that you experienced like a lot of breakage? How was breakage for you?
I think when I used to relax my hair, I definitely more breakage, especially when it was drying out. With my hair in its natural state, I don't know if I'm experiencing breakage. If I'm honest with you, to be quite honest with you, I really don't know. And also with the relaxed hair, obviously I'd be combing it every day. But with my hair as it is, I can say I can go days without combing it and just literally rubbing it. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm experiencing breakage. I suppose the only thing that I do notice is obviously because I'm keeping it short, I'm not getting the length as
you would like
as
to.
I would probably.
Okay. Would you like to actually have longer length, or would you just fine with?
Do you know what? I like the versatility of our hair is something that I just think we're just blessed with. Yeah. Yeah. And I just love the fact that I can wear it short and I can still try and make it funky. Yeah. But at times, yes, I would like to grow it, but it's that in-between stage that I don't like. So if you can help me with some ideas for that in-between stage. Not a wig. Please. Can't do that.
No. Okay, I see that. In terms of breakage, I feel like you have what a lot of naturals would love to have, which is not playing with our hair. Like just not hands, because that's where like a lot of breakage ends up happening, is your hands are consistently in your hair and it's just, I can't help it.
That's what I said.
I like to try different styles. And I get bored very easily. And sometimes I just want to be like, you know what it is? For example, I'll see your hair, this is lovely. Yeah, I'm gonna try that today. Bear in mind, I just washed my hair 2 days ago, but I said, no, I'm gonna try that today. When I get home, that's my next hairstyle. That's what tends to happen. And I feel like as naturals, we need to just understand that, you know, if we want the lymph retention and also just for the general health of our hair, just sometimes just, you know, keep the hands out. Just leave it alone. Ebony, what's your expertise on breakage?
I find that some people confuse shedding with breakage. So our hair will shed, we'll lose about 100 hairs or so a day. It can vary, some people might be more. For afro hairs, so say like for trimmer, you're not going to see hairs scattered around your house because it's all quite compacted. But when you know, go for however many days and you wash, you're going to have maybe like a week's worth of shedding, and it can be like, oh my god, my hair is falling out, when that's natural, it's normal. Like with our Caucasian counterparts, we'll see their hair blowing in the wind everywhere, do you know what I mean? It's very apparent their hair is shedding. And so sometimes we might detangle a little bit less than we should, because we're like, oh, if I detangle properly, all my hair's going to fall out. But it's like, no, get rid of all that shed hair, because if you don't, it's going to tangle, and then you'll get knots, and then that can lead to breakage that way.
Okay. Has anybody ever experienced, speaking of knots, has anybody ever experienced single strand knots?
Honestly, because I
feel like that's something that is also very confusing for a lot of people in the senses, and because I know for time I didn't know, I couldn't tell what a split end was on my hair. Everyone's like, oh, how do, you know how sometimes people just look at hair and be like, oh, there's split ends. How? Till this day, I would have to literally get each individual and be like, I think that's a split end. No, we cut that. I genuinely, so like, what would, with you guys, when it comes to like your regular trims, how do you do that? Because I really don't. With like split ends and single strand knots, how do we go about trimming our hair, knowing whether we're cutting a bit too much? Because sometimes you actually might not need a trim, and then you're just cutting. And then we complain there's no length because we're just cutting.
I think it depends on what style you wear your hair in. So for instance, like Joy, you're going to cut your hair probably a lot more because you are keeping it in a shape. Also.
My barber or my hairdresser.
You're going to see them more often. Whereas Trimmer, you might be like, oh, I'm trying to grow my hair. Or even, I forgot her name. Marika, there we go. We'll maybe not see the hairdresser for a longer period of time. I think we all need to do some maintenance to prevent kind of like damage and stuff, because that can help with lymph retention if you have like a quite even base. But if like, you know, you're wearing a style, I'm going to cut more. But if it's just like a normal kind of just maintenance trim, I will do a thorough detangle, see where I can feel, because the ends of your hair, you can feel if there's like bumps or breaks or it looks finer, that kind of thing can tell you when you need to have a trim. So it's just playing it by eye. I would say at least like 4 times a year, I would say go get a trim done if you can. Yes, every time the seasons change, go and have a trim.
That makes sense, especially in the country we live in, because right now, see this UK weather, what it's doing to my hair? Guys, keep praying for it, please. Just pray for her. Let's speak about styling. Marika, like, I love the way you styled your hair today. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
But what is styling like for you?
Styling for me is hit and miss. Some days I have like nice defined, no frizz, like, this is me. And then other days, like today for me, this is not a good hair day. I see frizz, my hair isn't as glossy as I would like it to be. To me, it could be more volumized. Volume is a big problem I have. I have quite fine hair, so I'm always with my afro comb kind of trying to puff it up. I just wear my hair back a lot, which isn't great. In terms of styling, I really liked the Aveda curl gelée as well. I found it to be really defining. It gave me a little bit of moisture. It was really lightweight, which I love because I can't stand when products weigh down my hair. That's a big no for me. Again with the leave-in, I've been using the leave-in daily. Because I do find that I do need to have some sort of spray in to have daily moisture. And again, it was easy to use. I love the smell. and it didn't weigh down my hair and kept it moisturized. For me, that was an A1. I really love that leave-in.
See, like Aveda is just, you know, blessing us with amazing products, but literally the leave-in, the curl gelée, the shampoo, the deep conditioner, deep conditioner, like it was deep conditioner. Literally just blessing us with products that is great for our hair, and this is why why we as Treasure Tress, we literally introduce everyone to so many different products in the sense of, because you genuinely don't know what works.
Yeah.
And when you try it, you're like, oh, hold on, this actually wasn't bad. This has actually really worked out for me. Like, I'm enjoying this currently. Like, so Aveda, thank you.
Brands, to be fair.
And Aveda is just absolutely amazing for me. Like, I've never been so, like with their products, especially I think their styling products for me, the styling, we had like an Aveda styler, that was amazing. Those who were at our pop-up, some would have received like a mini Aveda styler, or it's a green bottle, I remember that. Absolutely great and amazing for me. But guys, what frustrates you most about styling? Me personally, I know it's I would have a style in my head, and I'll be like, this is how it's going to go. And for some weird reason, my hair says, no, I will not cooperate today. I'm going to do what I want to do, and you are no longer important. But I raised my hair, bear in mind. I am the one raising you. I am the one keeping you healthy. You're the mama. This is it. The relationship between our hair is really mother and child. But our hair does not like to cooperate. Our hair decides that, you know what, I'm going to rebel. So I'm a teenager now. I know what to do. I'm going to... So, guys, what's your styling frustrations with your hair?
It's exactly what you're describing. It's not getting what you want out of the style that you envisioned. And I don't know, if I'm speaking just for myself or anybody else that's there, I will forever stay on YouTube looking at styling videos.
Yes.
And I know, hands up, I'm a YouTuber myself, but still, I will still go and be looking at all the different videos. I'm like, I'm going to try that, or the really quick ones on Instagram as well. I'll be like, the ones that come
reels.
up. Yeah. Also, and then it's funny story. For me, it's always like the curl rod ones or perm rod ones, those ones. I went to the hair shop, I got the curling things. I don't know whether I needed to stretch my hair out. I didn't know, but I thought my hair texture could do the same thing. Yeah. So fresh hair, followed the video to a T. I rolled up the first one. I said, this one. I don't know.
It's not going like the video. It's not working. It's not.
Because I usually play it safe. I know how to do my braid ups. I know how to do my twist out. When it comes to like the perm rod ones, and I want that look. It just, it just looks so nice. So I'm just like, I really want it. But that's the frustration for me, is like not being able to achieve a particular look that I would want. Or maybe not knowing how to do it. Yeah. And also not wanting to go to the hairdresser to spend money to get it done. I'm still trying to do DIY myself. And it doesn't work out. So it ends up being a high puff all the time. All the time.
I'll give you a tip for that.
Yeah.
So you want to work on really small wet sections. Use like a gel. So like the one that you used to style your hair today.
Yeah.
And lots of tension when you roll it, and then set your hair with heat.
Okay, yeah, I think the setting my hair with heat part. So like, how do I do that? Is it with like a blow dryer?
Yeah, so if you have a blow dryer, I know you can get like the hood attachments, that, like, the old school ones that like look like an alien face.
Guys, don't look. Let me tell you, that hooded bonnet dryer is the best investment you can ever make.
Listen, everybody needs one. Everybody needs one. I've got two. One fails, you know what I mean? And you sit there and you hold it.
Yeah.
So using heat so it doesn't have to be like really high. I know a lot of us can be quite worried about heat. I think heat can be used safely, especially if you're styling. You want, like, the heat is going to help that style to set. That's really going to make all the difference, so that you don't end up with like a poof or like day 3 or the middle still damp, but it's just kind of like, using heat to set it will really change the game.
Okay. And like, how long are you supposed to stay under? Because sometimes it's like, do you do that and then still leave it overnight, so to then do it for the next day?
So I guess it depends on how much time you have.
Okay.
So for me, I like to set my hair until it's like dry.
Okay.
So it could be up to like an hour or so. If you can get it to at least it's like touch dry, like 70% or so, and then you can leave it in just to make sure that it fully sets. But always do like a little test. Take one out a little bit, unroll it, and see how it looks, because you should be able to see like the shine on it. And if not, put it back. And then one more time.
In terms of styling, because I feel like we all do this. You like one style, it's your favorite style, and you will continue to do that style. So, perfect example, funny enough, in the office, we talked about this a couple of days ago, how you would do a middle parting, and your hair becomes trained to that middle parting.
It's true.
I currently have, I can't remember, wait, I think it's this side. A side parting, my hair is trained, as in you don't even need to. Like, let's actually talk about whether that is really a good thing or not, because they do say, okay, don't always put your hair in a puff, but I'm so sorry, it is easier. It makes my life, don't always do the middle parting. I like it though. It looks nicer. I prefer that. So what can we really do to, because at this point, that is something I genuinely, I'm intrigued by, because you would part your hair in the middle and that's it.
Yeah.
It's trained for that. So every time just, oh, look at that, great. Look at that, great. And you're always putting your hair in a puff. You're always putting your hair in a ponytail. And it's like, so this is where it becomes difficult as a natural. Too much over manipulation is bad, but don't do the same style all the time. So where do we, what's the middle ground?
I think it's more about technique rather than like the actual style itself. So for you, if you're going to wear a middle part, I have no problem with that being like your long-term kind of style. My thing is, don't use like, you know, them hard bristle brushes and brush every hair that you have until your line becomes a ruler. Do you see what I mean?
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
I'm so
So
sorry.
you have to just be really careful about how you do things, because it can cause tension and traction where, like, you know, if you repeatedly put it in the same way, that's when we end up getting damage. A lot of us see it more around like the hairline where it's a little bit more delicate, or like the backs of our necks.
It's definitely a problem for me.
Yeah.
100%.
And so if you're going to have your hair in a puff, maybe don't use like elastic or rubber bands or things like that. Maybe use like a cloth kind of tie that's a little bit gentler. If you have a headache, loosen it up because it's too tight. Have days where maybe, like, you know, you have half up and then half down, or just find ways to do it as like pain-free as possible. So usually it's that we ignore kind of like the warning signs. So we're like, oh, when I get my hair done, if I've got like a facelift and it's tight, oh yes, my hair is fresh, it's going to last for weeks. I'm like, cool, but your hairline's going to be gone with it when you take it out. And so knowing that we can do styles but have some kind of like middle ground where they're not painful, like hair shouldn't be painful.
Agreed.
Can I ask then? Where I go to the barber and sometimes I get some sort of design cut into my hair, if I keep doing the design in the same place, am I going to get the same effect?
No, because you're just cutting the hair above the skin. It's only if you find that, like, which shouldn't happen, if your barber was cutting into your skin and you had like a scab coming up, that's where he's damaging the skin. But if it's just like a razor, like, no amount of shaving is going to stop your hair from growing.
For me, I find that I use, I know you said no elastics and whatnot, I'm using now like these satin, you know, the
that's
satin
scrunchies,
scrunchies.
yeah.
I find that they're helping me so much.
Definitely.
It just like that little bit more protection just to stop the hair from breaking, because I used to use like, you know, those elastic ones, and then you, at the end of the day,
You come out and it's
and it's like your hair is like tied around the elastics. I'm really finding that they're helping me. Don't know about anyone else out there if they're using these satin scrunchies, but I definitely recommend them. They're working for me.
Yeah, or even like the elastic, you know, the big hairbands that we use that don't have like a metal tie, they can be really good as well. I just, sometimes I'll go on Instagram or like social media and I'll see people doing extensions and they've grips up the hair with bare gel and they've got a rubber band around it. I'm like, oh, is your grip game that weak that you cannot hold on to the hair unless you've got all that stuff? So.
See, this is the problem I have with the rubber bands. I think rubber bands are great for the style sometimes, because you know sometimes people do other styles with the rubber bands, not just that, like to do their braids. Sometimes it's a little kind of pattern at the front, but it's how much not just breakage, but how much tension you're putting on your hair. And then there was a tip of, okay, use clear elastic rubber bands. Use, make sure you soak the rubber bands in oil.
That one, I saw that one as well.
These are great tips, but again, as you said, it's not just like there's technique, and it's also how often you're doing it.
Yeah.
Guys, it's not every week rubber band hair. Not every week. Sometimes just, you know, once in a while.
Yeah.
Once in a while. In terms of like length retention and the overall health of your hair, what tips or even like questions have you guys got? Like, would you say is great for like length retention? Because to be honest, I think that's really and truly majority naturals. That's what we want. We just want the long hair, the flowing of the hair.
For me, biotin and MSM
Okay.
supplements. I know biotin is well known, but MSM, take too much of it and you'll be hairy everywhere. But get that biotin now,
Okay.
you'll still be hairy in most places, like more often than not, but it really has helped with my hair growth.
Okay.
So definitely MSM and vitamin C. Vitamin C, biotin and MSM.
Okay.
I actually agree, MSM. When I went to Atlanta, one of the hairdressers over there told me, get MSM, and that made a wealth of difference to my hair.
Okay.
And I think it's also your diet, to be quite honest
Yeah.
with you. You know, we can do as much as possible externally, but internally we have to make sure that we eat properly.
Yeah.
Drink
Yeah.
enough water, 'cause that will help as well.
Yeah. And that's another thing that as naturals that we need to think about. We're always doing so much to the hair, always buying the newest products, the greatest shampoos, making sure the deep conditioner is great. But if your overall health isn't great, like such things such as stress, guys, take
Big
time
one,
off.
big one.
Yeah, like stress is a
That's why
big.
my hair fall out,
Yeah.
and I
Like-
had to cut it all off. It's true.
Stress is such a big thing, and one thing I noticed during, so we're in my uni and my college years, every exam season my hair must be out. I personally cannot have my hair in a protective style during exam season because I'm the person that I get so stressed that I must take my hair out in the middle of the exam and redo it. So it will be in a bun at the beginning. Halfway through the exam, my hair is probably out. My hand is somewhere in the hair. There's probably a pen or two in there as well. And I noticed that during those times that it was during that month and a half period of exam season is where my hair, I could feel it was at its weakest because I literally just always had my hands in it. So guys, your overall health, such as your stress, even simply just like what you eat is actually so important. And I can testify that I am not the greatest eater. I snack a lot, a whole lot. Pray for me, guys. I'm doing better. I'm getting there. Like we all do it, like, you know, and what we don't realize is that all of this actually contributes to our hair growth. It's everything that's going inside your body. It helps with your outward appearance, not just hair, skincare, everything. So that's like, yeah, that's what I really think about. Like, it's very interesting, guys. I'm really enjoying this chat, actually.
Avocados are meant to be really good because of the natural fatty proteins that they have. And protein, eating it is very good.
Yeah.
No,
So,
definitely
yeah.
eat it, not on your hair and stuff. And I think it's like lymph retention, like you mentioned, like diet and health is really important. When your body doesn't have enough nutrients and things like that, the first thing that's going to go is your hair. Like your body does not need your hair for anything. I always tell women this, that like you catch a cold, pregnancy, vitamin deficiencies, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna bounce. When you get your stuff together, maybe I'll come back, but you have to really, and usually it's like the first warning sign that something internally is off. So you guys mentioned like vitamins and supplements. I actually am not a fan of biotin. I don't find that it works in the same way for hair, but I think everyone should have like a blood test, find out if you've got like an iron deficiency or vitamin D. Taking supplements can be really good because most of us will be deficient in something. So I think that can be very, very helpful for our hair to make sure we can grow long, healthy hair.
Okay, cool. I'm liking that. I get that. Yeah, with the I've tried. I shouldn't have tried a lot of things at the young age that I did, but I did, guys. You know, like the tablets, the Hair Infinity, the Main Choice tablets. It was all the tablets I tried, all the drinks I tried. I will not be trying again. But I do agree with just like even like your kind of daily supplements of like vitamin C or vitamin D, just taking that in general, because that doesn't just help with the health of your hair, but it helps with the overall health of your body. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. So just really onto, what would you say from the Aveda line that you've received was your favorite product and your go-to product?
I've got two. So the conditioner and the curl gelée for me, because that was a surprise one. I was like, I don't know how you're gonna really, because I didn't know how it was gonna work for me.
Yeah.
So I would say those two. The conditioner, I was pleasantly surprised because I liked the consistency of it. So like it wasn't too thick, but it wasn't too thin. It was just right for me. And the packaging is great as well. I was able to just squeeze it out, which is something that's helpful. Sometimes you get packaging where you can't really get the conditioner out. And it's a struggle. You want to just get the product in your hair. So that worked really well. And then, the curl gelée for me is the surprise one, because the definition that it's given my hair today, and I haven't done this look in a very, very long time, and like I'm just so happy with this.
We love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aveda. Cold Gelée.
Yeah.
Marika?
Again, I touched on it earlier, the leave-in conditioner. The leave-in spray for me, my go-to, like every day. Moisturise, great definition, lightweight, didn't bog down my hair by the end of the week. Great.
Okay, Joanne, yes?
I think, like you, the leave-in conditioner, but also I like that oil. I think you mentioned it, Chuma. The oil was really lovely. It was lightweight and easy to sort of rub into my hair, and just left it feeling really soft and moisturised.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I actually love the product, the packaging. Love the colours.
I think
you know, aesthetically it's very pretty.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Because I think that's one thing about naturals that's one thing about natural hair products is the packaging. If the packaging looks amazing, like looks great, I'm going to go buy the product.
I might not know what, doesn't it? It looks high-end because of the colour.
And black women deserve luxury, and Aveda gives us luxury.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. That's honestly what it is. Because I'll go to a hair shop, I'll see a product, like, you don't look that nice, but you could be great for me. No, don't look that nice. You're not going to look very pretty in my collection, and I have a collection, and I want it to look a certain type of way, and so. Yeah, no, definitely. For me, I would definitely say it was, you know what, the leave-in was a surpriser. And the reason why it was a surprise, because everyone in the office kept saying, they're leaving. And I was just like, really? But the leave-in was a great surprise for me. That was a great product. And I would also say, I actually didn't mind the shampoo. And because I'm such a clarifying person where I feel like I need to see the strip, I was doing a lot thinking, where's the strip? Where's the strip? Yeah. But what I did notice is that it didn't, like, I put on maybe a tad bit too much. You know, sometimes when it says, guys, it's really important when they say don't put too much on, because, you know, you'll squeeze and you'll just be, you're like, But the lather was absolutely, like, it was, that lather was quick.
I absolutely agree.
The lather was very, I said, oh, wow, okay. And I'm just there like, oh, okay. I was waiting for the strip, but I was like, no strip. But my hair didn't feel as stripping, which sometimes I agree it's a great thing, but not all the time. Because with stripping, you know, sometimes you feel like your hair feels like plastic. When your hair feels really stripped, it feels like plastic, and it's like, oh, this isn't correct sometimes. But with Aveda, for me, I actually enjoyed the shampoo. So the shampoo and the leave-in conditioner for me were great and absolutely amazing. But yeah, so guys, we are gonna have a 10-minute break. Just to, we are gonna have a 10-minute break, but it's just so you guys can get yourself together, get your questions together. You guys we have breakout rooms later with our lovely ladies. Guys, can we just give a round of applause? Oh, I'm just gonna give a round of applause. I don't know how you lot felt about this chat, but I felt like everything was said. I felt like questions I had were answered, and it was great. So the ladies are gonna go into little breakout rooms where you can discuss your hair concerns, from lymph retention to styling to breakage.
One of the questions being, Danielle mentioned that she's a lazy natural. Bun life is her life. She loves the Aveda Nutriplenish spray leave-in. Any tips or tricks that you think she should keep in mind styling her hair, keeping her hair in braids, keeping her hair in protective styles without compromising the health of her hair? Because I know that protective styles are great, but I know that doing too much of anything is a bad thing.
Definitely. I would say making sure she preps really well beforehand. So using the products to do a really good wash day, condition, so that before she does the styling, her hair's in a really good place. If she's doing like braids or something that she's going to wear for a couple of weeks, knowing that you can still cleanse and moisturize your scalp with that styling if you don't want to take it down. And just making sure it's not painful. And as I said, any pain when you're putting it in while it's in is like a big no-no. So you want to try it and make sure that it's like as loose but as neat as possible.
Got it. Cool. Sounds good. And then Peach was saying that she loves the slip in the curl gelée, and Marika was saying that she loves that it doesn't have any alcohol. Any tips or tricks you can offer for using products like Aveda's Nutriplenish curl gelée to give us the definition that we want without compromising volume and definition?
Yeah, so for products like that, it's probably used best as soon as you've rinsed out your conditioner while your hair's still quite damp. So I would say if it's like in the shower, you use it, apply the gel, Make sure it's like as defined as you want it to be, and then dry that in. So if it's the diffuser that you use, for Marika, if you wanted like lots of volume, I would really try and scrunch up to get like as much as heat directed at the roots, and really try and like, I guess, judge as you're drying it so it dries with lots of air in between it. And then if you want to kind of stretch out afterwards, use your concentrator nozzle to kind of pull the hair a little bit more, and then also always just be aiming it upwards.
Which one is concentrated nozzle? So what does that look like? Is that the one that's kind of
like a circle with pins in it? And the concentrated one is the nozzle that kind of looks like a beak, where like it starts wider and goes thinner. That can be like stretching it out.
That's just sitting in the box, never even used. So thank you for that. I'll definitely get that and try it.
Yeah. And even sometimes blow drying your hair with your head between your knees can help with the volume, because if you dry it upwards, it wants to kind of stay in that position a bit more.
Yeah.
Got it. And then I don't know how much longer we have you for, Ebony, but another question that we had, or Marika and I were going back and forth about definition and frizz when we're diffusing. I said that I absolutely love frizz because it gives the illusion of my hair being thicker than it actually is. And Marika was saying that frizz is something that frustrates her. So when we're using products like the Aveda Nutriplenish, Curl Gelée, or even the Daily Moisturizer, what can Marika do to manage frizz?
So for Marika, you want to, as I said, you're going to work from wet and dry very, very quickly, and not do too much kind of moving around or so. So maybe just use your dryer to kind of keep your hair and try and keep the hair flow directed. Like you're going to move your dryer very slowly. Whereas if you want more frizz or more like, movement in your style, you can have the dryer moving around a lot more, and then even pick apart your curls a bit to give you that extra oomph.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So is Marika styling her hair in sections, Ebony?
No, she can do it all from one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Great. I'm quite lazy. Sections
yeah,
to me.
Manipulation sometimes. If you've got very thick, very long hair where the product doesn't move easily in your hair, then sections can help. But if you can get done in one go, definitely.
Can I ask another question?
Sure, go ahead.
Ebony, how do you feel about sulfates and silicons? Because in the curly girl hair community, we're always advised against them. We're taught that they're not good. How do you feel about them, and how do they affect what we choose to style our hair with?
Yeah, so I love them. I'm like, bring back silicones, bring back sulfates. I think they're a really important part of our products to help them work effectively. So the sulfates are more cleansers, so they'll be in your shampoos, and actually you'll find that you'll see them in like detergents, in your dish soap, they'll be on other places like that, even in like body washes. What happens is that, like our host earlier was saying, you can get that really squeaky kind of clean feeling. And for naturals, we get worried about taking out too much moisture from our hair. So we want to kind of keep it in. And that's why we may use co-washes or conditioners or really heavy, glossy feeling products. But we actually want to try and cleanse out all of those oils and products every so often. And then we can put the moisture back in with our conditioners and things like that. And silicones are really good if you're using any kind of heat. They will form a bond around the hair that makes sure that the heat doesn't damage it. So if you do like blow drying or any heat styling, you want a silicone-based product.
Cool. Peach said, bring back silicones, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Last question, because I know you have to run to another room. Natasha said, do you have any tips on how to do a good wash and go, particularly on 4C hair? I find that my hair feels super dry the next day. This is also a really good question actually for Chuma. I think Chuma, before we started the event, spoke to us about how she used the Nutriplenish spray leave-in, and then she used the Curl Gelée to give her the definition that she needed, and she is definitely in the type 4C range. So over to you, Ebony. Any additional?
Yeah, I think that's like a really good example of using like the leave-in first and then the gel, because with wash and goes, the set is what we need. That's going to keep our hair defined. So we worry that it's going to be too hard, but you can break that cast afterwards when it's dry. Using a really good leave-in or something to create like a barrier between your hair and the gel can work, especially if you've got like tighter coils, and just knowing what your hair looks like defined. So for me, I know when I used to define my hair won't go into ringlets, it'll go more into a zigzag. And so understanding that the gel is only going to enhance the shape that I already have, not completely change it, is really key as well. let me jump into your conversation.
We went through all things actually. We talked a little bit about breakage, and then we went into styling, and then we were talking about being product junkies and trying different products. So we've done a variety of different things. But guys, this is probably where you can actually ask the expert. Ebony's our expert for any like questions that you have.
So you guys have been experiencing, what's kind of been happening with your hair?
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was saying like right now, like I'm wearing a wig. It's my first wig, and my biggest fear is when I take it off, like my edges and stuff. And like lately, I've been doing more protective styling, like braids and stuff like that. And I feel like although they're meant to be protective, my biggest fear is like when I'm taking it out, I don't feel like I feel like there's always some sort of breakage, whether it's the like my ends have become a bit more split or my edges have like eroded a little bit. So for me, it just feels I'm struggling to be counterproductive with protective and then breakage.
Yeah, I think with protective styles, that could be whatever is protective for you. It might just be that a bun is protective for you, or having like twists is protective for you. It doesn't have to be like a wig, extensions, or anything like we go to the hairdressers for. It could just be whatever is comfortable and easy for you to do at home. If you're going to be wearing a wig, I would say wearing like a headband underneath. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but there's like some silicone ones that I've seen on the market that are really, really good. They help to keep the wig in place, but protect the edges, so there's not any like rubbing or that kind of thing. Wearing your wig as little as possible at home. So if you're at home and you're able to have it off, let your hair just be out and about. But then when you go out, keep it on, but try to make sure there's like breaks in between, or that you're not moving or adjusting it too much. Also be really careful where like if you have like a lace front, or the inside can be quite rough on the hair. So having like a net or a barrier in between really, really helps. Cool, does that help? I hope so.
Oh, well, I'm taking off the wig today, so let's hope so.
Well, we're going to cross our fingers for you and be like,
and then the lady in the blue t-shirt had a question.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that I was explaining to Ebony that my issue that I have is finding different styles that aren't going to cause tension on my hair. The edges on the front are not too bad, but it's the back of my hair. I've always had a bit of traction alopecia there, so I'm trying to think of other styles, other ways of wearing my hair that I can, because I was explaining, I'm not in a position to just wear it out at the moment because I've still got a couple of trims to go before I can create the shape to just wear it out. So it's what I was trying to get from this session is kind of ideas of how to wear hair and what to kind of do for particular areas of traction alopecia.
Cool. So I'm similar to you. I've got like an M shape at the back where I got really bad traction as a child, and my hair just doesn't like to be tied up too much. So I will do things where like I've got similar to you, the front up and then the back just kind of left out, or I'll do like 2 braids just so that it always ends at the back. There's also ways that you can kind of manipulate your texture to make it look like you have a shape that you don't. So maybe doing things like twist outs or flat twists can be a really good way to shape your hair when it isn't already shaped, and you can kind of, depending on how you do the pattern, get your hair to look a certain way. And listen, invest in some bobby pins. A little tuck here, a little tuck there will give you something that you might not feel that you have already.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I've not done the bobby pin thing, but yeah, I'll give that a go.
Yeah, and just really loose twists. Like, I think the really exciting thing about natural hair is that I guess sometimes we can do a style, it doesn't always look the same way every time, but having that like variety can mean that no one knows how it's supposed to be. And so if you have like a more kind of undone style where it's not too like, specific, it can look really like, exciting and cute as well.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Or like styles where it's just like,
literally. Yeah. You just kind of got up and gone. But yeah, and I like that. Some days it works, some days not so much. Some days I look homeless if I try and venture out like that. But no, I know what you mean.
Other people will look at you and be like, oh my God, her hair is so cute. How did she get that? But it has to be like neat and a certain way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of it, and that's the versatility that we have, right? Because no one will know, and it's faking it till you make it, and that is part of it. And you'll get the compliments like, I didn't even try today, but okay.
Yeah, it is true. That's very true. And one thing I'll say is that coming away from the straightening of the hair, I think it's a really beautiful thing to see a lot of people around, me doing the same thing. But the amount of confidence that I have now compared to when I did have to have my hair, you know, straight and adhere to these standards that are ridiculous. But yeah, now you just kind of get up and go. And I feel a lot more confident within myself. That's one thing for the past couple of years that, yeah, I've noticed.
Wicked. Any last questions before I bounce around to another room?
No, not for myself. Thank you.
You guys spoke briefly about like traction and alopecia. It's a word I keep seeing appearing and whatnot. Like, what is the difference between that and I guess, I don't know if there's such thing as a normal alopecia. I have 2 daughters now, so for me it's like trying to find ways to protect things happening for them. As you can see, she's very much bald, so I've got a long way to go, but so that I don't, you know, do such hairstyles that are going to create so much tension and stuff, because I feel like I'm really relearning things for myself now, but because of them I'm having to like relearn for them as well. So I feel like I'm trying to obviously prevent things going wrong from young.
So alopecia basically just means hair loss, so it can be any type of hair loss, and there's like literally like dozens, even up to hundreds of different types of alopecia. So traction just means any type of pulling force. So for black women, we're used to it being like, oh, your hairline is going. But it could even be like at the middle part, and like we said, so like ballerinas get it a lot where they've had to have their hair scraped up. Air hostesses, where they have to have their hair in a certain style. If you wear like a helmet or a hood, anything can cause traction. I think, especially for your daughters coming up, it's just making sure that their hair is as tension-free and as pain-free as possible. So like I had a client ask recently that they've got like a 7-month-old and the family's pressuring them to put their hair into like ponytails. And I was saying that there's no real reason to style any hair, to be honest. You can leave it out for as much as possible. If it's getting in the way of the child to tighten themselves, then, you know, a small hairband, nothing should be tight or painful. Just, I guess, treat your daughters the way you maybe wanted to have been treated when we were younger, where it was like, I know for me, getting my hair done was a traumatic experience. It was always painful, it hurt. Yes, I would like the outcome, but I didn't like the process of doing it. If you can make it as like fun and exciting and gentle as possible, that's going to be the main thing to help them.
Okay, right, thank you.
Literally just talking about lymph retention. Have you got any tips on lymph retention? Like just keeping the end of your hair, because what Rio actually suggests is the fact that with her hair, it's not moving past shoulder length. She sees that it's getting longer, she sees that it's getting thicker, but it's just not moving past shoulder length.
Cool. You find that a lot, that women say like it gets stuck over here, and I always ask, what do you wear? Because sometimes that can be a big thing as well. So like I've got a collar on today, sometimes we'll have our collar and our hair's just rubbing up against here and it's just cutting at this area. Or if we wear scarves or coats, that kind of thing can be like a big deal. Also, like, how well are you detangling? Because if you're not getting out all those shed hairs, like I said before, you can get breakage in that certain area. And what kind of styles do you do? So is it Rio that was asking, what kind of styles do you usually have your hair
in? When it's out of it, well, most of the time I do like, what do you call it? Like a 2-strand, not a cane row, but just like a 2-strand thing, and then I pin it. Or I think before, when I was like washing it weekly, I'd leave it out a lot of the time. Yeah. And so that hair, the clothing thing makes sense.
Yeah. And then with your twists, do you find that they kind of like taper towards the end and you start to get like really like just a few strands that you can see like the density kind of really tapers off?
Yes.
I would say where you start to notice that like it drops off, trim there, so you have like a really healthy blunt end. And then like retention is keeping here as nice and like clean as possible, but also making sure that we're getting really good growth. So like, how is your diet? Like, I hope you know illnesses or anything, have a blood test, check that, you know, you don't have any deficiencies. That's going to go a long way to making sure that your hair is like really strong, because lots of women have like iron deficiencies and that can cause breakage, dry, brittle hair. So sometimes we can be doing all the right things, but internally our body can't support our hair past a certain length.
Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions or anything?
Joanna, have you got anything? Any questions?
No, not really. I think I've been quite lucky, like you guys, using the Aveda. I think it's really changed my perception on my hair, to be honest. I kind of gave up before I found the Aveda range, and that's why I shaved all my hair off. And then about 6 months before, I just had a baby, so I was having like the bald patches here, and my hair was quite long.
Yeah.
Then it was shedding and getting quite thin. So I just thought I'll start all over again. So the experience starting all over again and being natural has actually been really positive for me.
That's amazing.
I think as all of you were saying, it's just kind of keeping it moisturised. So at the moment, what I've been doing is just plaiting my own hair up. I'm not that fantastic at plaiting anyway, so it's not even that tight. And I just kind of put a piece on top. So I haven't had my hair out for ages, and I'm just kind of keep maintaining it. And then hopefully maybe by Christmas, it might be nice and long to have out.
Oh, wicked, cool. I would say also try and enjoy your hair at this length as well. I know sometimes we can kind of like rush to have like a certain length of hair, but it's really good to experience it at all different stages, because if your aim is to have longer hair, you're probably not going to cut it again for like a long time. So like, you know, how Joy is doing, experiment, have fun with it, and know that your hair is going to grow. So just enjoy kind of like all stages of the journey.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think I've been a bit lazy, that's why.
That's cool. Okay, so I'm just listen to what else you're doing for a bit.
Yeah, have you guys got any questions about lymph retention? Just like
No.
Cool.
Ask a question. Just a quick one. That in between stage. So at the moment, it's fine. I've got it shaved more or less at the side. But then if I do want to grow it, I then find that I can't get it into a style that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
Any advice?
Yeah, so I think for you, you've talked about how like you like to have your hair curly, kind of thing before. I would definitely go for like a really nice color, and maybe as it grows out, changing your shape a little bit, because at the moment you're quite like longer in the middle and really short on the sides. Maybe as it grows, try and take it like widen that angle. So you're still like, you know, it might take just a little bit longer. So you're not growing it out kind of like, okay, I'm never going to cut again until certain length. You just change your shape as it goes. So it feels like you have a style and you're able to wear it out. So it might be that, you know, you tell your barber, don't cut above here for now. I'll keep these sides low, but don't cut above there. And then I can kind of take the middle, and then so that as I let the perimeter grow, my middle is long enough for me to kind of cover or wear to the side and do other things with it.
Okay, thank you. That's a useful tip. Thank you.
Cool. And the lady, yes, you had a question. Yeah, I think it is.
I had a question.
Yeah.
I just found out that we could switch rooms. My hair, like when it grows, it just length is not a thing. It's just like thickness, and it's always been like this. And for me, I've always been to regain length. It doesn't matter how thick it gets. Length is kept like up to here. It does not grow beyond that point, no matter what. I've done to get the trims and stuff. So for me, I regain the.
Yeah. I was saying to one of the other ladies earlier that sometimes it can be like our clothing that we don't even realize is having a problem. So like when people tell me their hair is kind of capped at like shoulder length or just below, it's usually that they're wearing something or wearing their hair down that's kind of like rubbing against it, and they haven't really tell, and have it underneath their collar or their shirt or their jacket, that just that continual movement kind of breaks down the hair slowly from the outside. It could also be that you might have some like deficiencies and stuff. So I'd say get like, you know, iron checked, your vitamin D checked, and make sure there's nothing internally that's slowing down your growth rate, or making sure that when it gets to here that it can't sustain length any longer. But do you have like a hairdresser you go to regularly, or yourself?
I did growing up, but now I just feel like it's hit and miss. And I feel like the stylist I've been going to, I feel like everyone's so concerned about hairstyle and not hair health.
Okay.
It looks so good, but then they've messed up your hair in the process.
Yeah.
Ownership of it. So I feel like in that situation, you're just kind of left, or you feel too embarrassed to say anything. So
I hear you, I understand. Yeah. I think sometimes it can be hard because, again, there's lots of great stylists who can make your hair look amazing, but they kind of compromise your health while doing so. I would say if you can find someone local to you that you can see, you know, every couple of months, it doesn't have to be very, very often, but that can just help you and give you kind of like that tailored care, so that if they can notice something, maybe it might be that, you know, your trims aren't going long enough, or that maybe in your styling there's a little bit of damage happening, just really to help you make sure that, you know, you're traveling this journey the best way possible.
A quick round of applause again for the panelists. I think that they were really, really good, and I think that they offered some great tips and tricks. Essentially, we really hope that you all had a good time. This is our first event of its kind, so we've never done a virtual event before. And this won't be the last. We're going to be back with more hair clinics, and eventually we will be back with more in-person events. where you guys can meet each other, you can build your own boxes, you can try new products. But this was a really exciting and a really special event because Aveda as a brand are fully investing in speaking to Black women authentically, learning about our hair concerns and catering to our hair concerns. And we work with a lot of brands. So we can tell who's really invested and who's really doing it. So thank you all for being a part of the first ever Treasure Tress and Aveda Hair Clinic. We really, really hope that you all enjoy your goodie bags. If it hasn't come through as yet, keep an eye on your email because Royal Mail have all of the tracking information. And if it doesn't arrive by Monday, drop us an email and we'll follow it up for you. But again, thank you all so much for joining. Have an amazing rest of your Saturday and hopefully we'll see you at the next event. Oh, and one last point. When you are trying the Aveda Nutriplenish products, feel free to upload them onto your Instagram stories, tag Treasure Tress, tag Aveda, so we can see how you experience them and what you think about them. But thank you again and have a wonderful weekend.